Now I just want to demonstrate some of the mechanics behind digital illustration and demonstrate how they're very similar to traditional and analog means. Um, so right now I've got two programs open. I've got Photoshop open and I've got Sketchpad open, which is a product from Corel. You open up Photoshop first. Now, when you open up Photoshop, and by the way, I just want to let you know that I am using a Wacom Intuos 4 drawing tablet. Now, when you first open up Photoshop, and if you haven't already, customized your settings, you get your brush tool, and depending on which brush you pick, basically, if you use it, it's just going to make these really. Hold on. Oh, okay, I understand what's going on. All right. It's not. I haven't switched the color yet. Okay, back on track. So let me just get rid of that. All right. So when you open up Photoshop and you get your brush tool, and you're gonna make these really dark, really thick lines. And right now my brush size is set to 20, so not really that big. So now the neat thing about using a tablet, specifically one from Wacom, is that, and the particular model that I'm using, the Intuos 4, has over 2,048 levels of pressure. That means, however, like the amount of pressure I apply to my tablet when I'm drawing, all that information gets transfers over to whatever program I'm using. Now, right now in Photoshop, because I haven't set anything yet, no matter how hard I press, I'm just simply making the same dark, thick lines. So in order to change that, I go over to my brush presets. That's not my preset. I go over to my brush presets, and I click on Shape Dynamics, and I click on Other Dynamics. Other Dynamics is called Transfer in CS5. I'm using CS4, so this is what it was called back then. Now in Shape Dynamics, that pretty much determines the shape of your lines. And right here I have the control set to pen pressure. And right here I have my minimum diameter set to 20%. I can't have it set. I could put it to 0% so I can get really fine lines, but I like keeping it realistic and keeping it to 20% so that it almost simulates a pencil. And basically what that means, and Other Dynamics determines the flow from light to dark based on how hard you're pressing. And once again, I have the control set to pen pressure. So what that means now is that I can now make thinner and lighter lines depending on how hard I press. So I start out light and start pressing harder, or I could start out hard and go light. And I create this custom brush with these settings, and I like to call this my pencil brush, and this is what the brush I use to sketch with and it's what I start out with mostly whenever I do my illustrations. And I can just go in darker and darker. And there are other things I can do too, like I can add texture to it. So I'm going to pull up another brush that I have, and if I can find it. I think it's this one. But basically, what I did is I took a texture that I made myself, and I applied it to a brush, and that texture transfers over into the brush, and now it looks like I'm drawing against paper with a pencil. It's got like this real grainy sort of look to it. And again, the harder I press, the darker it is, and the lighter I press, the lighter it is. So it really does create this effect of using an actual pencil. And you can do the same thing with you can create, like, paint brushes too this way as well. And create something that simulates a canvas texture. So now I exit out of that, and I'm going to go into another program called Sketchpad from Corel. It's a free program. It comes with courtesy of purchasing a Wacom tablet, and this is a program that simulates the feel and the look of a sketchbook. So I'm going to go up here and click New Sketchpad, and right here it gives me these options. It lets me choose how big I want it to be, what resolution I want it at. I want 300 is usually what I go with, and it lets me choose the texture of paper I want to go with. I want to go with like a more canvasy type texture, so I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to click OK. Alright, so now I've got my sketchbook all set up, and I can go to New Pages this way, and it brings up this option again, asking me if I want to change the texture and the size or anything like that. I don't, so just click Cancel. I'm going to choose my pencil. I'm going to choose my color, which is black, and my size is, not sure what my size is, but now I'm going to start drawing. And you can see that the settings, what I did in Photoshop to create those like dark to light lines and create texture in my brushes, those are already implemented into here, and they're implemented when you first start out. Another nice thing, like if I pick a brush instead, I'm going to pick an oil brush. As you see the cursor, you kind of see the tip of it moving around. Like if I move it this way, it's reacting to how I'm moving my stylus. So if I point my stylus forward, that cursor is going to point forward, and it's only become more advanced with later versions of Painter and Sketchpad. I'm going to go back to my pencil, increase the size a little bit. So there you go. The mechanics. So this just shows how the mechanics of illustration and normal traditional craft haven't really changed when they make their transfer over into the digital medium. It's just this, as Neil Fontaines put it in his video, the mechanics stay the same. It's just the tools are different.